This lesson is on function notation, and it is important to know that when we are writing f of x, we say it f of x. Now, these are the most common variables used for it, but we can use any letters we want. So you might see it as g of h or s of t. So the letters can change. This is not multiplication. This is a notation indicating that the equation it is set equal to, or the function, or the graph it's referring to, it is a function. Okay. F of x is the same thing as the y value. Okay, so in an ordered pair, the value of f of x, we can put it in the y value position in an ordered pair, or in an equation, if we have y equals 2x plus 3, we can rewrite that as f of x equals 2x plus 3. It's the same thing. Now again, because it is the y value, we could write an ordered pair as x, comma, f of x. This is the same thing as x, y, an ordered pair. Okay, so the key here is you need to be sure you are relating the value of the notation f of x to the y value. Now, what is this going to look like in a problem? If f of x equals 4x plus 7, and I want you to evaluate f of 3, let's look and see what we did here. We substituted a 3 where there was an x in our notation. That means right now we want to evaluate f of x when the y value, when the x value equals 3. Okay? So here we have a general equation that's going to represent all the points on a graph. Here we're talking about one specific point on a graph. So let's go ahead and evaluate that. I am going to plug a 3 in everywhere there's an x in the equation. I have all numbers now, so I'm going to follow my order of operations and simplify. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 7. 12 plus 7 is 19. Now, we've simplified to 19. It's important to know what equals 19. X doesn't equal 19 because x equals 3. F of x doesn't equal 19 because f of x equals the expression 4x plus 7. So 19 is equal to f of 3, specifically where x is 3. So this is the same thing as the ordered pair 3, 19. So we've got to start relating this notation with what it means as an ordered pair or on a graph. Alright, here is example 1, and I want you to hit the pause button and evaluate f of 9, and then hit play again when you're finished to see if you got it right. Hit pause now. Alright, so hopefully we plugged the 9 in where there was an x, filled in everything else, and then simplified. 9 divided by 3 is 3, so this equals 2. What equals 2? F of 9 equals 2, and that's the same thing as the ordered pair 9, 2.